Hey guys, Coach Connie here. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to go in depth of my witchcraft journey, my black magic journey, so that way you can be inspired by this story in hopes that you take power back that is always yours. Disclaimer, I'm sharing you my experience, okay? View this at your discretion. Please seek professional help. All my videos are just me sharing my experience, so don't take it to heart. So one of the most life-changing moments was when I was 10 hours away in a whole different city with the guy that I thought loved me but only loved what I could do. And at that time I didn't realize it. And I thought I was pregnant at one point because I started gaining like 25 pounds literally in the span of 6 months, and I was still working out, and I was wondering why these weights weren't going away, and my face was just all puffy, and I had so much health issues, and it was really a lot. And it was a very much manipulating, gaslighting, very dark moment in my life. And I remember it was 2 a.m. and I heard the Spirit of Jesus saying, you need to go to a pastor. And so in the East, you call it a shaman, but in the West, you can call it a pastor, a priest. So I was looking up local pastor, shamans near me. It was 2 a.m. in the morning. Because at that time I had a dream that this man that I'm sleeping with was a demon. And how do you explain that to a person you've known for like 8-9 months? Like, hey, I just had a dream that you've been unfaithful, but I'm too insecure to ask because I don't want our relationship to break apart. And I'm 10 hours away from my family with no money to my name. And I'm helping you with your business, but I'm not feeling like I am enough. And you don't want to talk to me and you're talking to other people, all that jazz. And so I went to see a shaman, and the person was really disturbed. Wasn't happy for me, but you would think because he was a Christian man, he was happy. And I wasn't going to let his life affect other instances where I've met Christian people who are amazing, okay? So I knew the difference. And the shaman, the pastor, was basically saying, you have spirits inside of you and it entered through your vagina. So people don't realize is when you're intimate with people, you actually contract spirits. And some people that you see like with STDs and like chlamydia and all that stuff, it's spiritual. It is definitely spiritual. So I had to literally expel demons out of my body. And then I had to somehow explain to the love of my life that that's the journey I went on. And the thing is, he didn't want to understand. And people say things, until they don't need you anymore. And I felt so powerless in that moment. And then that's when 2 weeks later, our relationship broke off. And I didn't even have a voice to speak about anything. It was just like very manipulative, very dark and evil way of thinking, like not wanting to fight. That's when I knew this decision was already made way before my input on it. So this person was a manifestation of how powerless I felt. And I had prayed, I just want to be confident. I'm tired of always being left, always things going wrong, me always having to perform for love. And at one point, literally when I thought I was pregnant, he literally showed me a porn video of what I should do to please him. Well, after the whole witchcraft, I just thought that I was you can't see spirits unless you have the gift. But in that moment in time, that's all I was to the person. And I cooked, I cleaned, I did the best I can. We grew the business together, and he never wanted to see my potential. He never wanted me to be better. And in fact, my second year in the company, I made more money than he's ever made his first 2 years. So a lot of darkness likes to destroy people through trauma. So when I packed my bags, and by that time he had already been talking to people, and I was too insecure to even look through his phone, and it happened before. And you can sit here and say, oh, why didn't you leave the first time? Well, the same people that say that are the ones that have gone through so much trauma and are so hard themselves that because they don't feel like enough, they have to tell that to other people. People don't understand how important empathy is. And why I created this Coach Conde page was despite the cards you've been dealt with, you can make your own cards. You can find a way to deal with life in a way where you feel powerful. And so when I packed my bags, I came home, no money to my name. I'm crying and I'm hoping and wishing, begging and praying that this man would call me. He would never pick up in all my relationship. It was like I was the only one calling. I was the one like reaching out, saying everything's okay, feeling like I have to fix things. And so I was sick and tired of that. And it took my 5th situationship to realize I'm done with this shit. You know, it's like how many girls are going through this thinking that performing and doing is going to allow someone to stay. It's not true. And it's because I would watch Disney videos all the time about Prince Charming. And if you just stick with someone and like go through tough times, everything's going to be okay. That's not how it works. And so I realized in that moment in time what evil was. And not only did that person have like 25, 30 bodies. And the thing is, if you want to go around and screw around, that's fine. Like, that's fine. That if you want to do that, that's okay. But it's the fact that you weren't honest. You didn't want to listen except right your way or the highway. And I'm just stuck by a decision. And you know what? Even $0 to my name, I was one of the top performing. Man, if I could take all that energy and to create my own business, which I'm doing now, I would outperform anybody in the room. I promise you. Because for the next 6 months, I had to go through a deep spiritual awakening to where I was living in deep, deep fear. Like I wouldn't get out of bed. And even if I was to go to work, I'm thinking like something's following me, like very, very much paranoid. Because when you see demons and spiritual deliverance expel out of your body, it really shapes the way that you see yourself, because it absolutely does. The fuck. Okay? And I had to have the courage and the bravery to believe that I'm still a daughter of the Most High. And through years and years and years of just trying to figure out why this happened, I prayed to become powerful. I prayed to become confident. And the thing is, God, fear, doubt, anxiety, all that darkness is your purification process. It's not something evil. And even when I would go to church and stuff like that, no one talked about spiritual deliverance. They would just say the scriptures and, praise Jesus and drink their wine and bread. And every single week that I went on a Sunday, no one was talking about something that like this. And when I consulted with one of the local head girls, she was like, yeah, I don't know why we don't talk about this. This is so important, because she went through a spiritual deliverance as well. It's really scary because it's an ego thing, right? You want to believe that you're pure and that you want to protect yourself. I get it. It's a defense mechanism. But the moment you see those things purge out, you're not all that. And so building your confidence is, despite the failures, the darkness, like, can you see yourself the way the Creator sees you? And what better test than that? And so Coach Conde is a place where a woman liberates herself from the worldly identity and taps into the spiritual identity, right? I share with you guys my gym. I share with you guys my daily life, my 9 to 5. I share with you guys the books that I'm reading, the supplements that I'm taking, because I'm going to enjoy life regardless of whatever. I'm going to be the baddest chick I've ever seen, regardless of whatever, regardless of witchcraft and black magic. And I remember like how misunderstood I was, and the fact that that person was not willing to understand me. And guess what? I'm going to understand myself. And I learned in that moment in time, I don't need to prove to anyone or beg anyone to understand. And if they don't want to understand, then that's on them, right? Like, I don't give a shit enough the people's opinions and the world's opinions on my life. You can paint me a demon girl, you can paint me all this stuff, but at the end of the day is that I did something 99% of the world don't want to do, which is that to believe in myself, to liberate myself from darkness, right? Despite having those cards dealt, and still trying to inspire, still trying to heal, and breaking generational curse. And I felt in my spirit to say is, if you have a mother, or specifically a mother, she is your perception of love when it comes to the world. So if your mother was verbally abusive, manipulative, gaslighting, very much like conditional love, you had to perform to receive your mother's affection, you're going to go into relationships thinking that that's what you have to do. And you're going to wonder why things keep falling apart. And the only reason why it is so hard in today's age to fall in love is because dopamine hijacks the mind. You're being stimulated by music, by food, by bitches online, by this whole hookup culture. It is so disgusting to me that this is how the world has come to be. And for the ones that are trying to find light, are trying to believe in the love, is trying to tell themselves that there must be something great about themselves that they can give to the world, it almost feels hopeless. I don't blame you for being depressed. I don't blame you for wanting to consume, because you don't understand why it is that you are the way you are in the first place. You know, I was literally fat at one point. Multiple toxic relationships at one point. Almost was pregnant at one point. Went through demon expelling at one point. Had to remove negative energy out of my body at one point, okay? That's the confidence that no one is want to talk about over and over and over again when darkness tries to defeat you and when darkness tries to get at you. Can you believe that you can be purified? Can you believe in the unbelievable? So in this case, believing that God still has a duty and a role for me to fill, because if you're not treated in life as you're valuable, why take care of yourself? So for the people that are depressed and sad and overweight, you've been basically experiencing life in a way where you feel like your worth is nothing, right? You know how difficult it is to literally have no control of your finances, and you're helping the business. You're believing that we can make it out. We can be this power couple, just for the person to be talking to 16 other different people, right? And to be lying about them, to have the foundation built out of nothing, and to still believe that there must be something greater that life has to give me. And not having female friends to talk about, not going to therapists. So you're believing this guy, and it's like, you hear Jesus, you hear God, but it just sounds so faint. So I took a chance on God. And I created this headspace for you to understand, baby, I don't care if you've been kicked out in the streets. I don't care if bad things happen. You are not what has happened, but you must take ownership as to why you even got there in the first place. The only reason why from, being homeless in Chicago to the witchcraft journey to being led to and lied and gas manipulated, like those was just a purification process of old programs that just don't serve, right? I had to perform to be loved, okay? So think about it. The manifestation of everything came from that belief system that is not of my own, that I fought so hard to protect. And so when I had to let that go, I literally jumped into a new timeline, all right, where I decided I'm not a body and I'm not a face, I am a soul. I'm the daughter of the Most High, and that is how I'm going to operate. I had an instant where my self-worth mattered and I finally felt worthy, because some dude texted me talking about, I want to come over and get drunk, and old Connie at 19 would have been like, oh my God, he really likes me, right? Especially if those of you guys have daddy issues. Like, now Connie, block, you're not getting my time. And I have so many things going for myself, but literally a year ago from today was when I had to say goodbye to everything, and then take extreme ownership and accountability. And it was hard, bro. It was so hard because I couldn't talk to my mom about it. I couldn't talk to my dad about it. I barely talked to my sister about it. And I had to be my own support system, right? It was easy for me to just isolate myself because I already saw myself as this bad person. And then those spirits just reaffirmed that. And I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't want to have bad intentions. I don't want to be a demon girl. So it's just easier for me to stay in my own lane. I was suffering for so long, longing for someone to see me and to tell me it was going to be okay. And Jesus Christ, and I grew up Buddhist, is very strong to me because it was this experience of a mother and a father I never had telling me everything was going to be okay. And when I went to the shaman, I saw a picture of Jesus Christ because I told God, I don't want to be scammed. I want to be led right. I don't know what's wrong. Can you just help me? And that was when I woke up at 2 a.m. in the morning that one day, and I booked an appointment. And Kanye, all she ever wanted was to be loved, was someone to protect her and hold her and tell her everything was going to be okay. And literally I journaled yesterday because I didn't realize how mean I was to myself. And it wasn't like there's a manual on how to be a human being. You just kind of figure out life through experience. But to believe that there must be something greater than the things that I've tried to expel out of my body, or all the times where people left and they didn't fight for anything, and I felt like I was the only one holding things together. Like, this must have mean something, And just over and over and over again, taking it one day at a time. It was so heartbreaking. And so for any girl or any guy going through witchcraft, black magic, you're about to give up. You think that there must not be anything, and God isn't loving, and God isn't to your way. God remembers you. God wants you to become confident. Everything that you experience is a purification process to become the best version. It is almost like the irony is, like, to become pure, you have to experience unpure things. And it is really beautiful looking back now how far I've grown. At the same time, I had so many moments in my life, like, that I could have just exited out of my life. I could have just left. And I thought to myself one day, if I leave now, like, people don't even check on me. So what makes you think that they're going to check on me after I'm gone? Right? It's like, that was my thought process. That's what me going through the shamanic journey and expelling spirits, that's what my thought process is. Like, if I leave now, nothing's going to change. Everything's going to be the same because they didn't check on me now. They didn't, they weren't there for me now. Like, why would they care? And when you, like, have lost everything, and you look at your bank account, no one's talking to you. And I remember I went to the gym just, like, depressed for months, like, functional depression is what you call it, I think. I remember Jesus telling me, like, it's okay, just stay in the hurt a little bit. Like, you need to feel this, you need to heal this, and you are going to become someone. Like, you are worthy in my eyes. And you know how hard it is to believe in a voice that is just so faint when your external reality isn't encouraging you, and to try to find the evidence when there's no evidence that life will be better. And you just have to tell yourself that, your presence means something. It is really hard. And to be so nice and kind and sweet and caring, and to not do what has been done to you, and you do it out of the kindness of your heart, and you just don't want to give up. God shows the most beautiful moments. And I'm so grateful that Connie did not exit out of this life. And I learned in the spiritual world, like, we have 5 different points in our life where we can decide to exit. So it's up to the soul and what the soul wants, right? But sorry guys, my phone literally died, and I was like, oh crap. So I had to take a moment and cry a little bit. But yes, the hardest part about being confident is looking for the evidence, feeling the evidence, understanding, believing the evidence when there's nothing. It's like trying to make a home in the wilderness desert. Like, what supplies, what resources, and you're supposed to thug it out, right? It's the stripping, it is the purging, it is the overcoming and the healing that really strengthens your spirit. And social media has a funny way of making confident look like it's a spa date. Like, what? That's not what it is. And this is just me being vulnerable and transparent. This is from age 19, I decided to love myself. I'm 24 right now, but it was a journey behind social media that I had to endure first before I can ever give advice to anybody. And it really just makes you look at yourself a certain way. Yes, you're strong, but these dumbass programs, right? These, like, programs that run your life, these lies that we decide to believe and defend, which we don't even question where they're coming from. And so I wanted to share that with you guys today. Is if you're looking for evidence and you don't find the evidence, right? You're the evidence that God exists because of the creation of who you are. So you must believe that your life is something valuable. You must believe that you're worthy of having that reality. And the hardest part is paving a path for others to follow, but not really knowing what trail to take or how to even make a trail. And before I close out this video, I felt in my spirit to try to say too, is that the moment you start caring about yourself, you teach the world how to care about you. It sounds so cliche, but it's true. Because I thank God kind of never exited out of her life, because had she just thugged it out, and she did, she found her bestie, like, she's finding her purpose. It was in those breaking points that I finally understood what I'm gonna do. But imagine if I didn't push through, I would just give up. And what was on the other side that God has, like, what if it was more beautiful? Had I just continued a little bit more. And I got so tired, I started asking Jesus for help, because it was a weight that I just couldn't carry anymore. Like, if you know, you know, like, there's only so much you can carry in life. And at some point in my life, I stopped listening to what people told me I should be based on my age and what I look like. And age is just already gained experience. So you could be 18 and have the soul of a 50-year-old person, have the experience of a 50-year-old person, right? It's different. And we shouldn't judge people based on, because we don't know what options they had. So don't blame yourself for the behaviors and the cards you've been dealt in life, but it is your responsibility to do something about it, because you just don't know who's watching you. And you have to tell yourself that there's a camera crew, there's angels and God and kids watching you, watching every single move. So you must become the best version of yourself no matter what. And that's how I choose to live my life. Call me crazy, but I love the way that I think. I love my journey. I love everything about my life, and I couldn't have changed it for the world. Like I always say, be fruitful, go forth, and multiply Christ consciousness.